By traveling from Mombasa to Senegal or from Khartoum to Cape Town, I am struck by this geographical diversity, the beauty of Africa, which is hardly noticed when one is in America or in Europe. When I see the rivers of Niger, the Great Congo, the Zambezi, the Nile, then the mountains of Ethiopia, the uplands of Cameroon, the plains of Kenya, not to mention the animals in the Punjari or Nyokolo Kuba parks, I discover how Africa is rich and well endowed by nature. These are enormous possibilities that could be used to initiate a real development.
Wealth is not what is lacking in Africa, but rather people to realize it. Affectionately called Friend Nza, this man is part of that minority of people who understood that the real problem of Africa lies in the quality of its human resource.
Jusqu'aujourd'hui, nous les Africains, nous sommes les consommateurs passifs. On prend ce qu'on nous donne. Nous sommes comme des manœuvres.
Until now, we Africans are passive consumers. We take what we are given. We are like laborers. So to attack this problem, we have to see the need, what are the necessary skills, what are the human resources needed to face these challenges.
In initiating the Songhai project in 1985, Friend Nza very early engaged in training the new type of human capital that was needed in Africa. This consists in training agricultural entrepreneurs capable of producing goods and services that effectively meets the needs of the people. To date, more than 6,000 agricultural technicians have been trained in Songhai, not to mention producers from all over the world coming for capacity building programs. However, far from being satisfied, these good-natured Pan-Africanists, to whom all honors are given, the most recent honor being his recognition on May 2nd, 2017 as a pillar of agriculture, is constantly seeking ways and means for real development in Africa.
I go to bed at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning because I see the challenges. The work is so big. For the technicians, they apply the recipes correctly, that's good. We need technicians who have learned the techniques, new techniques, they execute correctly, that's important. We need many of such people. So we started with that, but reality is not a ready-to-wear something. Reality is not static. It's not really fixed. It's like a road that we do not know.
From then on, the need to move on to a higher level in the training of African human capital at Songhai Center was felt. Songhai Leadership Academy, SLA, was the formula found by friend Godfrey Nsamujo to train leaders capable, thanks to their background in economics, in science, in history, to identify all the challenges of the development and to react quickly to the challenges at the end of this program.
Le programme SLA est un très bon programme.
The SLA program is a very good program as it helps to train leaders, and good leadership is not common today, and therefore training people in leadership is very important today. The 6 months training that the participants spend here for the training and the program also allow them to refine their skills in analysis and perception. It develops in them the sense of observation, since seeing is not always synonymous of observing. It is a full package training. It is very good training, and if it had not existed, it has to be created.
C'est une formation très bonne. Et elle a indiqué si elle n'avait pas existé, il fallait la créer.
The SLA adventure will begin in September 2015 at Songhai Regional Center in Porto Novo, Benin, with the support of the French Development Agency, FAD. Each year, and over 3 years, 2 batches of leaders are trained. Participants come from all regions of the world, but mainly from Africa. They are between 25 and 35 years of age, have a minimum education of 2 years university studies, agree to live in community for a period of 6 months, and also abide by the rules and regulations required by the program. Participants of the third batches, 32 in total, did not miss the opportunity.
Ce que j'ai appris durant ces 6 mois.
What I learned during these 6 months is first of all knowing myself. I cannot make a complete list of all that I learned. It is too much. I myself have changed, so much that when I get back home, people will say, "Ah, really you have changed," because I have learned a lot.
Parce que j'ai appris beaucoup de choses.
There's something that also we learned here is the fact that man smiling with nature. That is, there's an interaction between man and his environment. Before coming here, actually I was working with a construction company, and I just found out that I really wasn't fulfilled. I felt I wasn't fulfilled, and when I came here, I saw that this is actually a clarion call for me. This is what Africa really needs.
Je viens du Niger, qui est un pays largement désertique où la désertification.
I come from Niger, which is a largely desert country where desertification is increasing, the population is increasing, the famine is almost a daily reality. We must reverse this. And I discovered in Songhai that is possible, and I also discovered here many potential are not used, but which can be harnessed thanks to what I saw in Songhai, and I plan putting into practice the practices to be able to first impart my communities and serve as an example to all of Africa, just like Songhai.
Servir d'exemple à toute l'Afrique, tout comme Songhai.
I am a director for Zion Gate Youth Center, a small integrated training center in Ghana. The main problem I was facing was about the technical know-how, the right information to get my project up there. In fact, it was a very serious challenge for me because I lacked all the necessary and the technical information to make my training center functional and competitive. But my coming to Songhai has really boosted my knowledge, has really made me meet the right people with the right knowledge, right mentors who are shaping my dream. And I think from here, I'm going to boost my training center.
J'ai eu la chance de...
Before coming to SLA, my ambition was to return to the land to work in agriculture and agro-food processing. And I was lucky to come across this training. And then I applied and was selected. It was an opportunity for me to learn a lot. Songhai Center for me was the opportunity to build my capacity. And in Songhai, I was impressed by the integrated system implemented here.
The training, more practical than theoretical, takes place in 3 key phases, each for 2 months. The first phase of discovery and observation allow the future leader to have a general view of the integrated system of Songhai. They are then invited to refine their senses of observation, observing with attention and curiosity the operation of the various production units of the center. In the second phase of learning, the participants return to their production units, but with a new look, to learn how the activities are carried out and how the units are managed on a daily basis. Finally, the specialization phase allows them to deepen their knowledge in a specific field.
À la fin de la première phase, il y a une évaluation écrite, il y a un questionnaire qui leur...
At the end of the first phase, There is a written evaluation. There is a questionnaire submitted to them, and they answer questions on everything they had observed, from the technical and organizational point of view in the center. And at the end of the second phase, that is the learning phase, they are asked questions about everything they have learned on the field, whether in animal production, crop production, fish farming, marketing, a little bit of everything. At the end of the third phase, they have to write a business plan, a development project they present and defend. So there is no longer an evaluation as such, but the project is an evaluation because there is a mark that is given for this project and it counts for the final score.
Attribué à ce projet-là, et ça compte pour la note finale.
Another peculiarity of SLA program is the mentoring of trainees. Each of them has a mentor who plays the role of supervisor.
Les mentors sont des maîtres.
Mentors are masters who have technical, moral, and organizational knowledge, which they pass on through the coaching of their mentees every time or every week, or on the field. In the SLA program, it is indicated that the trainee or the mentee must have two books, a first notebook and a summary notebook, which is a book that should be read by the mentor to assess the capacity of synthesis of mentees, since it is a leadership training program. At the end of each week, they drop their notebooks that the mentor will read, and after reading, the mentor makes his remarks. What is wrongly understood, what is well noted, what needs to be investigated, what they did not understand. The mentor tries to redirect them in the right line of the program. This notebook is marked at the end of the program.
Courses given by mentors, incubators, and farm technicians of Songhai Center, as well as some international partners, generally focus on human development, environment, philosophy, history, management, and good practices or agricultural techniques.
J'ai touché du doigt tout ce qu'on fait sur le terrain.
I touched all that is done on the field. I did agro-food processing. I cultivated. I held the hoe, the big hoe. I sowed. I planted. I did a whole lot of stuff. Now I know how to set up a farm, how to run and farm, and how to teach other youths to take care of them.
Aussi apprendre aux autres jeunes à se prendre en main.
I grew up in the northern parts of Nigeria, where we hardly produce vegetables all through the year. One of the vegetables that is difficult to produce for us, especially in the far north where I grew up, Gombe State, is carrots. Leadership Academy, the use of effective microorganisms for soil regeneration. And it is the use of the effective microorganism that has enabled these carrots to germinate in this kind of soil. And I'm proud that my expectation has been met. When I go back, I'm still going to produce carrots on my kind of soil using effective microorganisms.
Communication and languages have not been forgotten.
La communication aujourd'hui.
Communication today, we cannot do without it no matter the sector of activity in which we are. But knowing how to communicate is another issue. Beyond that, I just gave a small example. The participant who has a business plan that he wants to submit to an institution or partners for funding, he should be able to defend his project, but defending a project would mean that he should know how to do it. And before a panel, before a donor or someone who has the capacity to assist you, it is not always easy to go to the basics and say what you need to say in a few words. And right now, this training also helps them to know how they can have their way out and when they are on their own field.
Pour pouvoir s'en sortir, il y a bien des choses, on ne peut pas tout citer.
The SLA program is a very good program. We noticed that they ameliorate very well. And they like this program. And they discover that anything in this world cannot be done without discipline. And they ameliorate themselves. I want to thank all my trainees for the different promotion. I thank them for their discipline. Me, I think that they can overcome. I am confident in them, and I invite them to continue in this way, to not stop what they have started now here. And I am very confident in them. I know that they can succeed, we will succeed, we can, and they can also.
Communication, a very important aspect that facilitates more exchanges, the intermingling of cultures or life in community.
We have been able to gel together from the beginning, and we will really miss one another parting now. For the general community, when I came it was a bit difficult, but I realized that within 1 month, there are some people that I know, even if I don't know their names, we are smiling because we meet so often in different places. So for the community here, it has been one big family, from the other students, individual trainees, ourselves, our mentors.
C'est la première fois que je me suis embarqué dans un projet où...
This is the first time I have embarked on a project where with a multitude of nationalities which allow me to enrich my culture and create a network as I hope will grow with time. And it also allowed me to be more sociable since I was reserved, to be more open as we lived in an African,
purement Africain
community and sociable spirit. Also, it allowed me to think much to the community, and I have the common interests at heart.
For this third batch of participants, a total of 13 nationalities are represented. These include Burkina Faso, Mali, Nigeria, Togo, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Niger, Ghana, Cameroon, Senegal, the Gambia, Uganda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.